Hello and welcome to my channel. You know, if you've been following along, you know that we've been painting this Mandalorian. First week we did the armor and then we washed it. Second week we put together the accessory pieces and we put the first coat of paint on them. Well, you know, if you've been using Citadel paints, you're a little bit ahead of me because I'm using those Walmart paints, and even though they're inexpensive, they don't cover well. So I'm coming back and I'm putting on my second coat on my pieces. This right here is a burnt umber that I'm using on the leg. Let me show you. It's one of those Walmart paints. And so I'm trying to get these guys painted with their second coat so that I can go ahead and get them prepped. Because this week we're going to be working on the leather pieces, like straps and things like that. So I got to make sure that these are completely done and that I have them protected with my clear coat. So that's what I'm doing right now. And I thought this might also be a really good opportunity to get caught up. If you've purchased a kit, maybe you got a little bit behind and you want to get caught up and you need to know the colors that we're using. If you are using Walmart paints, this is actually a pretty good opportunity to get caught up. Looks like I'm almost done with the burnt umber. And it's just a little bit of touch-up that I'm having to do. Let's see, any burnt umber here. Just the top of the shoe. You know what I also did, I don't know if you saw the second one, added a little stripe, and I did that with a marker, a little Sharpie. So let me go ahead and get that done real quick. I'm just going to trace. And you can see it kind of sharpens it up a little bit. And then over here on the side, let me put this down. I also traced out a little section because it's going to be an armor piece. You know, I was looking at some pictures and there's like a little armor piece inside the boot. So let me get the bottom of the sole painted with my burnt umber, and then I can move on to the next color. Now Ben came on, and the guy who put together these kits, and he was talking about how he painted this, and he did it with a black. So, you know, if you want to use a black or a brown, I don't think it really matters on the sole. You know, a lot of these colors are just open to interpretation anyway, because, you know, the armor changed so much during the series and kind of evolved. So there's a lot of different options out there. Just find one that works for you and kind of go with it. I think this is the last piece that I have for the burnt umber. Let's see, what can I do with that? Let me get it to dry. I'm going to stick it on a pencil. And I got my little vise here. So let me crank it. And then that's drying. Let's see, what other pieces do I have? I've got this gun. It looks like that's burnt umber too. Let me go ahead and get that taken care of. It's a little strap. Looks like I didn't paint it. You know, I was reading online that You know, Han Solo used a classic World War I pistol, you know, the C96 broom handle, right? Well, this is actually based on a classic pistol as well, a military type pistol. It's the Bergman Model 1. And I believe less than, I think it was Forgotten Weapons I was watching, and less than 100 of these were actually produced. Okay, so that's done. You know what, for the handle, I'm going to use a paint that I have. I have this really neat gel stain, and I've used it here on my rifle, and I think I'm going to use the same stain on my pistol. It's called translucent stain. And I've used this on wood with the models that I've done, and it's looked really cool. Let's see. Let me get the shoe out of the way. You can see that's a nice, nice color of brown. I think I'm going to wash these pieces too with a brown wash. I haven't decided whether it's going to be a dark oak flesh or an Agrax Earthshade. So it looks like that gun's ready. Let's see anything else. Oh, you know what? I have that light brown band. You can see that color didn't quite cover. For that, I'm using a nutmeg brown. Oops. Okay, I'm gonna start with the rifle. Let's see, where do I need to touch it up? I think I saw the trigger needed a little bit. So I'm just gonna go down to the trigger guard where it meets the wood. Make sure that's cleaned up. Let's see, anything else? Maybe sharpen this line right here. Maybe the muzzle needs a little work. And some of that black as well. Yeah, I'm using these Walmart paints just because, you know, some of you guys might just have started customizing, and this is a figure that you purchase thinking, man, it doesn't look too difficult, maybe even I can do it. And you're right, it's not going to be a difficult piece. So, you know, you don't want to break the bank, but you want to get it painted. So I thought I'd help you out by showing you what I would do with Walmart paints. Okay, let's see, anything else? Oh, yeah, this band. Let me clean that up. That looks pretty good. Let's see, what else do I need? I think the The scope is gold, so I'm going to get my gold out and paint that. Let's see. This is a deco art. I think I got this at Hobby Lobby. Now, I don't know, I've seen different pictures with this rifle, and it has some different colorations. I'm choosing the one that I like the most. And, you know, I wanted to add a little color, so that's why I'm doing the gold. Maybe you're going to decide the gold is not for you, and you just want to leave it black or silver. But I figure the more color you can add to this, the better it's just going to be. And who doesn't want to use gold? I don't remember if the bands were gold too. Or if they were silver. I might just leave them black. That looks pretty cool. Oh, you'll notice that I also put a magnet in there because I have to make sure that I can, you know, attach my gun to the back of my Mandalorian. So it looks like that's done. I think this had a gold rod. And I think that loading circle is gold too. You know, this like Han Solo's gun is based on a real design. This is, I think it's called the Bergman #1, and fewer than 100 were made. It looks cool. You know what, I have to paint the handle as well. So again, I'm just trying to find some nice places for the gold. Looks like it's a little warped. I may have to get my hair dryer out and straighten it. Now that's looking good. All right, let me get some brown paint on that. I think I have a gel stain. Let me pull that out. I got this at Hobby Lobby. This is a maple gel stain. So I am going to paint the handle of the pistol. Well, let me put this in a vise. Make it a little easier. Looks like this might need a second coat too. I'll come back after that dries and touch it up as well. Okay, looking good. Let's see, what do I need to do on that pistol? It definitely needs another coat to the grip. But I think I went too far on the paint app for that, that stain. Let me get my small brush out and some silver paint. Because if you'll notice, the grip on this comes down a little bit. And so I'm going to replicate that. That looks pretty good. Let me let those dry for a little bit, and I'm going to come back and finish them. I'm going to add a wash, and let's see, where's the rifle? Yeah, let me add a wash and finish these guys, but I need to let them dry. All right, now that they're dry, I'm going to go ahead and use my Nullen's oil. It's a shade that I got from Citadel. You can also make a black wash, and in one of our live streams I actually did that. But for the sake of convenience, I'm just going to use my black wash that's already prepared. And you can see how that's kind of bringing out the details. And I'm just going to apply it across the metal areas of the model. I may have to go back and touch up some of these areas and lighten them. We'll see. That's what the receiver is going to look like once it's been shaded. Let me see if I can. Yeah, I'm going to shade the scope too. And the muzzle fork over here. I am definitely going to come back and lighten that up though. Let's see what that's done for it. Just kind of brings out the detail. Okay, so that's done. Let me do the same thing with my pistols. I think I'm going to put a brown wash on the leather parts and the wood parts. So I'm just going to attack the metal with the black wash. And again, I'm just doing this to the metal parts. Let me pull off some of that, put it over here. Again, it looks like I'm going to need my vise. Oh, you'll also notice I painted the barrel black. I wanted to have a little contrast, so I think I'm good there. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'll come back and I'll kind of like lighten them up in the areas that I really want them to be lightened up. Let me see if I can take care of the wood stock and the wood portions of it. So now I'm using a brown wash. This one's called Agrax Earthshade. And I'm just going to hit the holster. And maybe the wood parts. Let that dry. Let's see what that looks like when we're done. Okay, let's take a little break, come back to it. I'm going to go back and restore some of the detail just by adding a little bit of silver paint. And I'm only adding it on the areas that should be raised. And I'm avoiding the darkened areas just because I want to give it that well-worn appearance. And because these guns are used by a bounty hunter, you know, and they probably get banged around a lot and they experience a lot of wear and tear. So you can see I'm kind of painting these corners. And just the areas that would be naturally highlighted. You know, Star Wars was one of those first sci-fi movies that kind of took into account the wear and tear of things in real life. And they kind of portrayed that, you know, the spaceships were kind of like dingy and, you know, they had, you know, problems, you know, they break down and stuff like that. Same thing with the robots. So I thought that was pretty cool, adding that touch of realism to space opera. Okay, you can kind of see how that's looking. And just the bands, just highlighting them. And the tuning fork. Well, let me get the trigger too while I'm here. Trigger guard, portions of the trigger. Let me get that tuning fork. Yeah, that looks good. I think that's exactly what I wanted. Let's see if I can do the same thing with the pistols. Let's see, the muzzle, the sight, the top portion, hammer, oops. Thankfully that's covered. Okay, I think that's got it. Let me get to this guy. You know, a dry brush might be good on this too. All right, I think the pistol's done too. I'm gonna go ahead and get started on the next part, which is going to be, I think, the blue-gray armor. Because I noticed there's some pieces here that need a little bit of a repaint. I think that one looks a little dark. Let's see what's going on. Here's the paint I used. It was dark blue-gray. And I'm just gonna put on the second coat on this particular piece. And I noticed that this needed a little bit of touch up on the knee. And this one had a little white spot that didn't get painted, so let me just run another second coat on that. And that's easy. I'm gonna let that dry, and then I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna do a wash on that. I've got a blue wash, this one right here, Drakenhof Nightshade, and that's gonna go in there, just kind of make it a little more blue. And then I can get on the feet and leggings. These leggings, the leg armor, it's mostly something called a nutmeg brown, burnt umber. The nutmeg brown is actually for the lighter pieces. I'm gonna get to those in a second. But I'm gonna use this burnt umber to kind of touch up here on the legs. I noticed that there's like a couple of spots that need a little touch up. And that's the thing about these Walmart paints. You actually need a couple of coats to make sure that you get them, get the color developed. So I think that's good. Let me check this piece. Down there at the bottom, I see a little chip. Okay, I think that's good. And I use that same color on the shoes. You'll see here that I didn't get in the lines on that, on the shoe. What I did was I just traced out, I guess the borders in there with that black pen. And I just came back and I painted them. it looks like I missed this little section right here. And that's good. See the bottom of the shoe. That's also that burnt umber. See, I missed a spot right here. Get that. Now, I've seen these soles either black or brown. I went with brown. And then you'll notice I also use that blue-gray here on the side because it's like a little armor piece there. It looks like I need a second coat. So I'm going to use that blue-gray that I had for my Under Armour pieces. This is right here, dark blue-gray. And I'm just going to get inside that. You can see I also use my marker to kind of trace out the area that I was going to use for my armor. It just definitely needs a second coat. Looks pretty good. Let me check the other one. Okay, I think that's done. Let me take care of this red part in here. I don't see anything. I have this nutmeg brown, that's the lighter brown. Oh, right here maybe. Let me get rid of the paint on this brush so I can use it. Here, let me just grab another one. It looks like that band in there needs a little touching up, so. Got my nutmeg. And it looks like it's just right about here. Might as well get that pouch again too. All right. And then there's that red. Let me see if I can find that. That's called a Tuscan red, and I found that over at Walmart. Here it is right here. Let me put the second coat on that band. There's also an accent here, like an armored accent, that uses that same color. So there's the red band there. And let me check that armor piece. Yeah, I'll just kind of deepen it. Okay, let me let those dry because what I want to do now is I want to use my wash to kind of bring out some of the detail. So I'm gonna let those dry and I'll be back. You know, as I was setting those aside to dry, I noticed I didn't paint these little silver accents right here. So let me get that taken care of real quick. I'm also going to put a wash on these, like a black wash. So getting inside those little, I guess, the crannies isn't that big of an issue right now. I think that's got it. Okay, let me let all this stuff dry and then I can come back and wash it. I'm using a Reikland's Flesh Shade to do my shoes. I think I'm going to use this for all of it. It has a nice luster to it. It's like a reddish, and I think it does really well. See? I have a gloss in this, and I should have used that, honestly. I don't think it's really going to matter much, though, because after this I'm going to spray these pieces with my clear coat. But you can see how it brings down the piece, and those lines that I drew with my marker aren't as noticeable anymore. Kind of subdues everything, kind of blends the colors together. Yeah, that looks really good. Let's see what it does for this. Not really noticing too much yet. Maybe I should go with a darker brown for this. I'm going to let it dry and see what it looks like. And then I'll decide whether or not I want to go with a darker wash. Should do something for this because they got all these ridges and stuff in there. I like what it's doing to that brown. Look at that. Kind of blending everything. Actually, I think this is a winner. Probably will have to go back and repaint portions of that red band, Tuscan red band. Let those pieces dry and we'll take a look at them. You know, I almost forgot about these little wrist pieces. And I'm just painting them sky blue. If you remember, I used the base color Beachcomber Beige. Now I'm just trying to paint a little triangle on there. Looks like I made a little mess here on the side. I can go back and I can touch it up with a beachcomber. That's one. If you go out of the lines, don't worry about it because you can always clean it up with the Beachcomber Beige once you're done. That's what it looks like I'm gonna have to do here, because I went a little bit out of the lines. Looks like I'm gonna need a second coat too. Let me go ahead and fix this one though before we get off camera, just so you can see what the process looks like. These guys are really, really small. Oh, that's the idea. All right, I'm gonna let those dry. The hands themselves should be pretty easy. You're just going to the first knuckle. You know, because on his gloves, he has the fingers, the glove fingers, a different color, and they're this orange. Just paint to the first digit on each one of them and you'll be fine. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna do a little wash too, but maybe not actually. This looks like it's pretty solid. And there's some definition between the fingers, so you see what I mean? Right there. Getting between the fingers is probably the hardest part. I wonder if I went far enough. Because that plate is going to cover the fingers, the hand back here. Maybe I need to go up to the second digit right about there. I think that's it. I'll take care of the other hand in the same way. There you go. I'm going to glue those pieces on there as well. Let's take a look at it. Well, there he is. I think the hands came out really, really well. You can see I cleaned up that triangle too. But I'm really excited about getting everything put together. You know, we're really, really close now. All we have to do is take our armor pieces and glue them on. You know, so if you're up to this point with us, make sure you have your Gorilla Glue handy, because we're going to use that to attach the pieces. We're just going to glue them on kind of like that. I really like the way the rifle turned out. You know, adding that wash in there really sort of weathered it and brought out the detail. I do like that little gold accent that I have there. I think that came out really nicely. And let's see what else. Oh, yeah. I went ahead and I glued these two pieces together. And you can see I added that wash. That blue wash gives it that bluish tint. And boy, I mean, you know, it's taking everything, all the restraint I have, not to start gluing this guy together and trying to finish him, because I'm just really excited about seeing this guy complete. Here are those little armor panels. You can see that the wash also brought out that blue. So really, really happy with what we've got so far. Looking forward to Saturday where we actually glue these pieces on. So don't forget your Gorilla Glue. boy, that's just gonna look cool. On Saturday, we're also gonna start working on our leather pieces. I've already started. Here's well, this is not part of the build. This is my little side project, my little Grogu. You know, I worked on my little pouch here. But on Saturday, we're going to do the belts. We're going to do the holster, the ammo pouches, everything. So make sure you go down and get your vinyl and some way to cut it. You know, I got my Westcott cutter here. This thing cuts some straight lines, and I think it's going to have the precision I need to make sure I get those uniformed thin cuts, because we're going to be putting a belt on him, and then we're going to be doing thinner cuts so that we can put the ammo cartridges on his belt and around his leg right there. So yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a little challenging. Look at those boots. That wash really brought out that detail, didn't it? Look at that. Wow, that's impressive. I just, you know, those washes and, you know, I guess some stains too. I put some stain on his rifle. Oh, by the way, yeah, that's a magnet right there. I have another magnet glued onto his back so I can put his rifle there. I'm also going to do that with the jetpack, so that I can flip those back and forth without any trouble. But yeah, these washes look really, really good. Here's another wash. This is for his thigh piece, and I used a brown wash on that. So I'm really excited about the Saturday. I hope you can join us for our live stream. We'll be finishing up, and I really can't wait. I mean, I'm really excited about getting this guy together, because he's gonna look so cool. You know, I do have to get that bend out of his little pistol. I'm just gonna add a little heat. I had to use a little heat for I have one of these. It's a little heat gun. It's a little craft heat gun. And I used it to kind of soften up his boots so I could get his feet inside. And then also kind of like molded these cuffs here around the boot so that it wouldn't, they were rubbing really strangely. And they pulled a little bit of the paint off, but I was able to fix that. But yeah, this guy will be done on Saturday. I hope you can join us Saturday night at around 7:30, 8 o'clock Eastern time. And even if you haven't been doing The Mandalorian with us, you know, it'll be something to see. Make sure that you tune in for that. Well, until next time, you guys stay safe and be cool. And I'm going to see you guys real soon. Take care now, okay? Bye-bye.